Derek Sheridan from Rust Belt Basketball Coaches Network. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are so excited. We have the head coach of the Anthony Wayne Generals, Coach Jami Carter, who has her Generals off to a 15-2 start and a 5-0 start in the NLL, the Northern Lakes League, which is a knuckle dragger of a league. It is one of those leagues that is known as far as Lake Erie all the way down to the Ohio River. So it is outstanding basketball. And I also have to add, it's one of the best facilities in Northwest Ohio to play a basketball game. It is like being in Indiana. It's a great facility. And Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let's just start off. I know I've had five different people ask today about what was your journey into becoming a PE teacher and basketball coach at Anthony Wayne. So, and I guess to make that more simplified is what was your background like coming out of high school?
Coming out of high school, I went to a D3 school, Heidelberg University
Yeah.
in Tiffin. Um, and ironically, I played volleyball and softball. Softball was my primary sport in high school. Um, and while I was there, I had a season that I wasn't playing, and was a poor college student. So I took that opportunity to start coaching basketball. Coach for a small school that's not even in existence anymore. Learned a ton. Really thought even after I graduated college, I came back home that I would be coaching softball. In fact, I did for 2 years at Delta. This is just a small 2 years, but basketball, it's always been where I've fallen, and I think part of that is I've had some I've coached under some really good coaches along the way. And I love the intensity of basketball. It's an intense sport. You've got to be thinking, and I always tell you have to think and do at the same time. As a coach, you have to as well. So and it's a challenge. Every day you've got to find different ways to do something, whether it's offensively, defensively, reaching a kid. It's never ending.
Yes, amen to that. It is a fast moving season. I can remember the transition for me being an assistant into a head coach, how much more quickly the season transpired as a head coach versus an assistant was night and day. Because, as an assistant, you've got a million different things to do. And then as a head coach, you've got a million and five different things to do. And
Yes.
it's a really unique experience. So one of the things I want to ask you about that two other people have either emailed or texted me is you got to play Lawrence Central this year out of Indianapolis. That is basically like playing a Division II university. That had to be a great experience for your girls.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that trip. I was so sick that day. So my assistant, Jake Gass, took the girls over to Lawrence Central. My daughter went with him, so that she could text me updates as I was laying on my deathbed.
Right, right,
But
right.
and we did that it came up rather oddly. So we had a team drop us back in October, and finding teams to play us has been a little challenging the past couple of years. So I emailed a guy from that we know from Indiana, because we go to team camp. We used to go to team camp in Fort Wayne for 15 years. So we have some connections over there. And I said, "Hey, do you know anybody that is looking for a game?" And he's like, "Yeah, Lawrence Central needs five." And I'm like, "Sweet, I'm gonna reach out to them." And then I reached out to him. And then I started to do some research, and I'm like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, Lawrence Central." But we do that. We like that. We like that
Hmm.
challenge. Our kids do too. They buy into that stuff. They knew what they were going up against. Last year we went up and played a team out of Michigan, kind of the same thing. Um, and then actually beat them, and they ended up winning the state championship. But you know that they like those challenges. So it was a great experience. And in Indiana basketball, as you know, is just at another level. Even the hospitality and The coaches were really gracious, and it was just a really, really good experience. The fans, were very complimentary of our kids, but then just very welcoming as well.
Yeah, that's This RBC in production is sponsored by Game One and LJ Archambault. Get with LJ for any and all of your program's merch needs. You will not find a more capable, loyal, punctual, and honest sporting goods salesman than LJ Archambault. I can most certainly vouch for Game One and LJ as I have been a client of theirs for nearly 2 decades. Contact LJ at Game One and you will thank me later. At Game One, it's always game on. Indiana is a great place to coach as long as you're not coaching in Indiana.
Yeah,
And then
I could see that.
it's a great place to be as a visitor.
Yeah.
And I did it for a lot of years. But so tell us about your team.
Man, it's hard to put into words, and a lot of that is because we have a lot of veterans who've been with us for a number of years, and two have started for 4 years. Um, Elise and Brooke Bender, who are twins going to Villanova. Our point guard Sophie Smith is a 3 year starter. Um, it- they are literally your family because you do spend so much time with them. Leah Pike is our shooting guard, and then we have she's a junior, and then we have another junior, Kennedy Hill. She is our defensive energy. To just the kid just gets to the ball, and our kids feed off of that. And and they all have their niche, what they bring to the team. Um, we have we're deep as well, which is good and not something that we've had in the past. We have Corinne Volz comes off as a sophomore off the bench, Kennedy Hill, junior, another twin. And then we have the Brenneman twins, Lauren and Layla as well.
Yeah, I counted at one time. You have three sets of twins on this year's roster.
Yeah, we had four. Leah's sister Mal, she decided to focus on volleyball. Over they're both going to Ball State to play volleyball. So Mal's just decided to kind of focus on volleyball for a little bit. So we lost a half of one, but
Right,
she's
right,
still there in the stands and part of the kids. They are all a very tight knit group of
right.
kids.
Well, that's just such a weird anomaly to have so many
It is.
twins. Yeah, but
Yeah. And then we have a sophomore who is a twin, but her brother, she has a brother who also plays basketball. So
okay.
we even have, and then we have another set of eighth grade twins. So they just keep coming.
Yeah, it's something about the Waterville water.
Yes.
So tell us about Brooke Bender. I know she just scored 1,000 points within the last 10 days. That had to be something that was really exciting for your program.
Very. And we're so proud of her. It's really cool. The kids, our players put a ton of time into not only their off season, but even in season. And what's really cool and unique is that I know it because I'm their coach, but they do it humbly. They don't, make a big show out of it. They just get their work done. And to see Brooke's hard work pay off was awesome. And what a better what you couldn't ask for a better environment than the Classic in the country to do that. So we knew it was close, and we were all like, man, we hope she gets her thousandth point there. We didn't tell her. That was
Hmm.
one thing uh we knew Brooke would think about it. So when she hit her 1,000 point, the bench erupted, and she's kind of like, it was on a free throw, even better. It was on a free throw, dead ball. The bench erupts because everybody else knows what's going on.
Right.
And even Elise didn't know either. So she's looking around, and then Elise was like, Brooke, you scored your 1,000 point. So, and then of course she's like, well, why didn't you tell us or tell me? And I'm kind of look at her, and she's like, thank you for not telling me. You're right. So, each player is unique and unique in how you handle that. But it was really a special moment.
I was following it via social media, and there's few things that are more special for a head coach than to see one of your players achieve something that very few people ever achieve,
Mhm.
especially at the level you play in. Getting into that 1,000 point club is very difficult to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Danny's Cafe, located in beautiful Rossford, Ohio, is the ultimate pre and post game location. RBCN is a supporter of small businesses, and Danny's Cafe is one of our favorites. The University of Findlay basketball legend Brad Morrison has created an establishment that not only offers the best food in Northwest Ohio, but also the best environment to watch and support your favorite high school, college, and professional teams. The only place I've ever seen with more flat screen TVs is Costco. Plus, the service at Danny's is unreal. If you're looking for a clean, friendly, and upbeat place to hang out and enjoy life for a while, check out Danny's Cafe located directly across the street from Rossford High School.
Tell us about your thoughts regarding the NLL this year.
It's solid as it usually is. We have, we have crossover games. But each night when you go in, you're ready to battle. The kids are ready to battle, and we always know, we tell our kids all the time, we're gonna get each team's best, and we know that going in, as we should. So you know, we'll continue to grow. We're hoping to continue to grow uh, as a league. I like the fact that we're changing it up a little bit. I know change is hard. It's hard for older people, like the veterans, I should say, like myself. But it's progress, and we're headed in the right direction.
Yes, you're exactly right. Change is difficult, and I do think we're going to see a lot of change in the next decade within the NLL. I think there's a lot of moving parts there right now. I don't know what my thoughts are in regards to having a mega conference like they have in Columbus because I've never had to play or coach in
Mhm.
one.
Yeah,
So I don't know, but I do know, even though it's a different division that you're in, I do think Liberty Benton is going to be a good addition to the NLL.
agreed. Yeah, we're I'm excited. We're excited. Our staff's excited to have Liberty Benton. They won't be in our division, but it's still a team that, when and we've scrimmaged them in the past, and they're a really good team. So it's a great addition.
There's a lot of commonalities between Liberty Benton and Anthony Wayne outside of enrollment. And the main commonality besides, and again, besides the facilities is community support.
Mhm.
And, that's
Would agree.
something money can't buy because that might be the hardest thing to or garner as a program is community support. And your program most certainly has that.
Yes,
Uh,
we are very fortunate.
yes, you are. And it's not just that you're fortunate, Jamie, it's that you've earned this.
Thank you.
That is even more so easier said than done.
We are proud to have a working relationship with Grip Sprints. Grip Sprints is the most effective shoe to court traction solution on the market. I've tried a lot of different traction products over the last 28 years and can say with 100% certainty that Grip Sprints is the best. We don't only use Grip Sprints with our athletes, but also with my students in our physical education classes. Enter RBCN10 when purchasing Grip Sprints products and you'll receive a 10% discount and free shipping. Are you kidding me? In 2025, free shipping? Yep. Contact Grip Sprints via their website and enter code RBCN10 and you'll get 10% discount and free shipping for the best shoe to court traction solution on the market.
So looking down the stretch here to your last handful of games, what are your thoughts? I know you've got a couple teams there that could possibly step up and pose a challenge, but what are your thoughts going down to the last handful of games you have and then into your sectional?
Yes, I would agree. There's some teams in our league schedule, Perrysburg and Northview come to mind, that are going to give us a challenge, and we know that. We talk to again, the kids understand that. We end with Dublin Kaufman. They're coming here, and they're good Columbus school, very well coached. Coach
Hmm.
Kreinbrink is the reason why we went
Right,
down there last
right.
year, and he's coming up here this year. We're still close and talk quite a bit, but um, that's why we set our schedules up like that so that we
Hmm.
can get some good teams before we head into districts. So it'll be interesting to see how districts and regionals fall. Not having just six teams, it's hard to get a grasp on districts, but then also the regional portion of that because
Hmm.
it's going to look different. Um, but we always take that into consideration when we're setting our schedule up for the following year, for the next year, I should say, so that we put our kids in any position that we think we may see down the tournament
Hmm.
stretch. So we're comfortable with playing anywhere. In fact, I joke, and it's really not a joke. A lot of we play better on the road because we've been on the road so much the last
Sure.
couple of years. So, whatever they throw at us, we'll be ready.
I love the fact that you're playing Kaufman your last regular season game. You know, a lot of people would say bold. I would substitute the word bold with confident. It's a hell of a lot harder to be confident than it is bold. Anybody can be bold. That's something a lot of people really respect, and you're talking to one of them. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys practice this Sunday and having a mic'd up practice with the Anthony Wayne girls. It was something we tried to work out last year and it just never
Mhm.
came to fruition, but I'm excited about it. It's going to give a lot of really good insight to coaches, no matter what gender they coach. And, you know, being from Indiana, the verbiage has always been you can either play or you can't. You know, no one really talks about enrollment or gender or anything like that. So
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to it. But it's going to lend a lot of insight into how a practice is structured. And this is the thing, and I might be wrong, and I hope I am. I'm one of the few people who actually likes disagreements because then I learn something. Uh, it was always harder for me plan a practice for a shorter duration and get everything in I wanted to get in, but also make sure everything that we had on that plan was quality. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of younger coaches and even veteran coaches really are interested in is how to make that practice the best it can be, and especially on a Sunday, because we all know how Sunday practices can go. You know, the old adage was they're either going to be real good or real bad.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having a veteran
Hmm.
team for the most part. Um, they don't it doesn't matter if it's a Sunday, Monday, or Saturday. When we hit that floor, we're gonna make it productive.
That's great.
Because we've been in those situations. You know,
Right.
Christmas break is another perfect example. And
Hmm.
of course, you remind them like, hey, you've got Saturday off. Tomorrow, when you step in, make sure you're, as the kids say, locked in.
Hmm.
Um, and it is mental. And we talk a lot about you've got to be mentally prepared when you walk into the gym, whatever you need to do. And it's still a struggle for the younger kids as it
Hmm.
should be. Because it is a maturity thing. It is part of the process, but they get what's nice, and it happened, I don't remember if it was last Sunday or not, but sometime in the past couple of practices, our younger kids they weren't locked in, and I stopped practice, addressed it, and within the next drill they got it back together. So, and the part of that is because they know if they don't, the seniors are gonna um make sure they do. So
Yes.
there's that balance as well. So um yeah, the Sunday practices we utilize those when we have Monday games.
Hmm. Yep.
So we could give them Saturday off so that they can spend time with their family. We like I said, I know I keep referring to traveling, but it requires a lot of Saturday and Sundays away from your family. So we really tried, and they need that break
Yes,
as
they
well,
do.
teammates, sometimes sisters too, but we can't we can't control that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, they're beneficial. I would say too our practice structure, as far as how we plan it for the week is also based on when we have games. So we go hard 2 days, and then the day before, like today was sort of like a day where we backed off. We went
Hmm.
over specific things for tomorrow for Whitmer because we play Whitmer tomorrow. We got some shots up, did some breakdowns, offensive stuff because that's something that we do on a daily basis. But the 2 days before were much harder.
Right.
What I've
Exactly.
learned though is in the past probably 3 years, the kids have changed and
Hmm.
the drills aren't as long. Um, we everything we do is very fast paced as far as like moving on to the next drill. There's no downtime because once you
Hmm.
have downtime, you're gonna lose them.
Absolutely.
So our practice structure is very structured, to the point. And there's a lot of times when our practice when we're done with this drill, we get out of what we need. If it doesn't take 5 minutes, then we're on it at 5 minutes. If you guys want to
Mhm.
get out early, let's get it done. And they love that because then they can control, essentially when practice ends.
Correct.
And giving them that freedom is beneficial at times too. But you got to read the room and know when to do that on the right days too.
Exactly. The air in the room says a lot.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
know exactly what you're saying. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I'm really excited about Sunday. I'm strange in a lot of ways, but one of the things that I've heard from assistant coaches who I've worked with over the years, I like practice much more than I like games. So I'm really looking forward to watching you practice when I go to a college, and I would much rather watch them practice than watch them play in a game. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be great, and I can't thank you enough for donating your time in season to the Rust Belt basketball community.
Thank you for
And
having me.
absolutely. I wish you the best
Thank you.
as you go down to the end of the stretch. As I just told Matt Moore at Warsaw, who was kind of the boys' version of what you are at Warsaw, there's a good chance that maybe we can do this again if you start, knocking people off and in your tournament. And I think that'd be another great time for us maybe to talk about what you're doing in regards to that point of the season, because if there's anybody in Northwest Ohio, Dave Boyce and Jami Carter, they know what it's like to go deep into the tournament.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Coach, and I wish you the best. I can't wait to
Thank
see
you.
you Sunday.
See you Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.